Let's step into one of the most powerful moments in the life of Peter. Not because everything went perfectly, but because it didn't. The story of Peter walking on water in Gospel of Matthew 14 shows us something profound about faith, fear, and where we choose to focus when storms rise around us. The scene begins after a long day of ministry. Jesus sends the disciples ahead of him in a boat while he stays behind to pray. Night falls, and the sea begins to churn. The wind grows strong, waves slam against the boat, and the disciples are left struggling against the storm in the dark. These were not inexperienced men. Many of them were fishermen who had lived their lives on the water. Yet this storm was different. The kind of storm that reminds even seasoned sailors how small they really are. Then something strange happens. In the middle of the night, the disciples see a figure walking toward them on the water. At first, they panic. They assume it must be a ghost. Imagine the fear already in their hearts from the storm, and now a mysterious figure appears on the waves. But then a voice cuts through the wind. "Take courage! It is I! Do not be afraid!" The moment the disciples hear the voice of Jesus, the atmosphere shifts. But Peter, being Peter, doesn't stay quiet. He doesn't just sit safely in the boat and watch. Instead, he does something bold. He says, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." Think about that request. Peter is standing in a rocking boat, surrounded by crashing waves, asking permission to step onto the very thing that threatens to drown them. Jesus answers with a single word. "Come." That word changes everything. Peter climbs out of the boat. For a moment that must have felt like eternity. His foot leaves the safety of the wood beneath him and touches the surface of the sea. And something miraculous happens. The water holds him. Peter begins to walk toward Jesus. Imagine the shock of the other disciples watching from the boat. A fisherman, a man like them, walking across the surface of a raging sea simply because he trusted the voice of Christ. But then the story turns. Peter notices the wind. He feels the spray of the waves. The storm that had been surrounding him the entire time suddenly becomes the focus of his attention. And the moment his focus shifts, fear enters. Scripture says when Peter saw the wind, he became afraid, and he began to sink. That detail matters. The storm did not suddenly appear. The wind was already there. The waves had been crashing the entire time Peter was walking. What changed was not the storm. What changed was where Peter looked. Faith allowed him to step out of the boat.